Hello, and welcome to our Summer 2024 Tufts Business and Social Impact Pre-College Programs Live Q&A webinar. I'm Tara Pope. I'm the Director of Marketing for Tufts University College, the home of our summer pre-college programs. And we're excited to take you through our business and social impact programs happening this summer. Whether you've already started an application and have specific program questions, or you're still deciding whether one of these programs is right for you, we hope tonight's session will help you learn more about our academically challenging and uniquely rewarding summer programs. Whether you're interested in business with our marketing essentials, our entrepreneurship and innovation bootcamp, or more on the social impact side with our leadership for social change, climate resilience institute, or international relations programs. Not only do we have a lot of great information for you tonight, but we are also looking forward to letting you drive the second half of this session by asking questions of our program leads and team members. As we talk through each of the programs tonight, please feel free to enter any questions in the Q&A section, and we will keep track to make sure we answer all of your questions following the program overviews. With that, let's get started and meet the rest of the team for tonight's session.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abigail Terrian, or Abby Terrian. I'm a program administrator here at Tufts Pre-College Programs, and I'll kick it over to Max.
Hi, everyone. My name is Max Taylor, and I am the Assistant Director of Residential Operations for Tufts Pre-College Programs.
Great, and now let's meet some of our program leads.
Hey everybody, I'm Tina Weber. I am the program lead for entrepreneurship and innovation. And with that, I'll pass it over to Will Trevor.
Hi everybody, I am Will Trevor. I am program lead for the Marketing Essentials Pre-College program.
I'm Jill Parley. I work at the Tufts Gordon Institute, help to administer the programs that Tina and Will mentioned. So Calvin.
Hi everyone, my name is Calvin Zhao. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the program lead for the Leadership for Social Change Pre-College program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Phoebe Sargent. I am the program lead for the International Relations Pre-College program.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kailea Garces, and I will be the instructor of the Climate Resilience Institute.
Great, thanks everyone. And so for tonight's agenda, we will kick it off with our program leads who you just met. We'll provide an overview of each of their programs. We will then walk you through the application process, and then we'll end with our live Q&A session driven by your questions. During the presentations, please put any questions in the Q&A feature, as we mentioned, and we'll answer them during the Q&A portion. And first up, we'll be hearing about our Marketing Essentials program.
Right. So this is the second year that we've run this particular pre-college program. If you're interested in perhaps a career in marketing, or you think you're going to go into a career that maybe marketing is going to be useful to you, then this is the program for you. It's a very hands-on, very practical 2 weeks in which you look at a range of things from, fundamentally what is marketing, understanding how good marketing is about getting the right price and the right product, delivering it to the right place and the right people at the right time, and understanding that good marketing is also about meeting customer needs profitably. Whether you're Boeing providing a 777 to Singapore Airlines, or whether you're Unilever providing a range of household products, or whether you're a non-profit or a government organization. It's about understanding those customers. It's about understanding what their needs are. We look at, for example, the creation of personas, which are these sort of fictional characters that marketing people create so that they can understand more about their customers, create the products that they need. And we'll be bringing in a whole range of experienced industry practitioners, social media experts, digital marketing experts, branding experts from sort of startup marketing. So it gives you a really full range of what to expect from a career in marketing. Week one, what we do is we look at what's called that, understanding the customer, those personas I talked about, the marketing mix, the product, the price, the place, promotion, getting that all right, looking at popular brands and how they actually do it. And you'll analyze some of the marketing of some prominent case studies in terms of marketing. Week 2, we also have you hands-on, creating a social media plan and also creating social media content for a company of your choice or a startup that you've always wanted to make, all of those sorts of things. So it's looking at those basic marketing concepts so that you go away with a really good grounding in the marketing discipline. It's looking at marketing across a range of different contexts and different industries. And it's also giving you the opportunity to interact with some professionals in the marketing field. And we'll also help you with a range of tools, marketing tools like Canva, and in terms of creating marketing content, and also various other marketing platforms like HubSpot. We'll also encourage you to take some professional credentials as well to credential your skills. So I can't recommend it highly enough. Come and do the 2 weeks Marketing Essentials pre-college program this summer. We're looking forward to see you.
Great, thanks so much, Will. Now I'm going to pass things over to Tina to talk about the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Bootcamp.
Great, thank you, Tara. Will is a tough act to follow, but I'm going to try. So I lead the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Bootcamp. We're going to spend 2 weeks. We're going to have a lot of fun. You're not even going to realize that you're learning lots of stuff while we're having fun in the 2 weeks in the program. In the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Bootcamp, you are going to learn how to build a new venture from the ground up. So that means, coming up with ideas, business ideas, coming up with solutions to world problems. How do you validate those ideas? How do you know whether those ideas are good or not? Whether you will have customers, and you will do a lot of real world hands-on techniques. You will learn real hands-on real world tools. You're going to hear from real entrepreneurs and real business leaders that will be sharing their experiences with you. And yeah, we will have, at the end of the program, you will have a business plan. You will have a business that you will be pitching that you will be proud of. And so I can't wait to see you all there.
Great. Thanks so much, Tina. Now we're going to move into our social impact programs. And let's get started with Phoebe and our international relations program.
Great. Thank you so much, Tara. So the International Relations Program is really designed to not only get students interested in international relations and all of the multifaceted subject areas that international relations covers, but also to encourage students to learn what it's like to really be and exist on Tufts campus as a Tufts student. This program offers a wide range of content that goes all the way from intense language sessions to, of course, lectures by Tufts professors in their field of study in international relations. So the program is structured that in the morning, you attend a language class of your choice. We offer a wide range of languages that span from beginning Arabic, beginning Chinese, and beginning Russian. We also offer intermediate Spanish, intermediate French, and advanced Spanish. And for students who are learning English as an additional language, we also offer an academic English course to bolster students who already know more one languages besides English. So in the morning for 2.5 hours, students will take those very intensive language courses also offered by Tufts professors, where they're in a smaller group structure. We cap those classes at 20, and students will literally get a semester's worth of instruction in those 2 weeks in their language courses. They are treated like Tufts students, and they are given work as if they were a Tufts student in this very intensive class. And then in the afternoon, we focus the course on focus the content on more of the international relations and what professors are currently researching in their fields of interest. So we bring in professors from the Tufts Political Science Department, the Tufts Engineering Department. We bring in professors from Fletcher, which is the graduate school for international relations at Tufts University, which Tufts is really well known for. So we utilize resources from the Fletcher Graduate School, including professors that speak about conflict negotiation and the fundamentals of international relations, and professors that also speak upon international law. And then we also utilize undergraduate professors as well. Again, like I said, with the political science department, the economics department, the history department, really emphasizing that multifaceted approach to the diversity of topics within international relations. So if you are interested in anything that has to do with the humanities, leaning in an international focus, this content is fantastic for you, because every single day is a different experience with a different Tufts professor in their field of study. We have professors that are currently publishing the leading research on international topics and international relations, and they come and speak to the students for an hour and a half. And then we also bring in current Tufts students to lead discussion sessions, where students are once again put in smaller groups where they can really delve into the reading and the content that the professor provided, that in a discussion that is led by a current Tufts or Fletcher student. So once again, students are not only getting to hear that content from the professors, but they are also getting to discuss it in these small group sessions that are not unlike a traditional college recitation. So they're really getting the full gambit of what Tufts offers to their undergraduate students in the international field. We do offer Tufts matriculation credit for this. So there is college credit that is applied to this this program, and we also bring the students to create a collegiate level research paper at the end of the session. So they will choose a topic of their choice, of their interest, and create a ready to go collegiate level paper that really asks them to hone their research skills so that they are better prepared for what college asks of them. In addition, we also go on a field trip to the Edward M. Kennedy Institute, where the students get to learn what it's like to really interact within a political space and environment. We've been doing that field trip for 2 years. This would be our 3rd year doing it, and I love it every single time. The students have an amazing time, and it really allows them to do that hands-on experience where they apply all that knowledge that they've been learning in these sessions and in these lectures, and they get to interact with it together with the Edward M. Kennedy Institute. So if you have any questions about the international relations program, I'm more than happy to answer more. Like I said, it's a very complicated program because we offer so much. IR is such a complicated and complex field of study. We want to make sure that we really offer that wide breadth of what international relations covers. So again, if you have any questions, more than happy to answer.
Great. Thanks so much, Phoebe. Next, I'm going to turn things over to Calvin to talk about leadership for social change.
Hi, everyone. If you are someone who's interested in social justice, in community engagement, civic engagement, and thinking about how policy at the national and state level can impact local communities as well, then the Leadership for Social Change program might be a really cool way to spend your summer this year. I'll just quickly do a day in the life of our residential program so you can really envision yourself in that space and what it looks like. Our day goes for, the program is 2 weeks, and our day goes from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In the morning, you'll start the day with a small group of other Leadership for Social Change students led by one of our current Tufts University peer leaders. You'll get to know each other. It's a big community building space, a kind of check-in to begin the day. And then from 9:30 to 12, you'll have a faculty session each day where we have a different faculty member from across the Tufts campus lead a particular interactive hands-on session on a specific social justice issue area or topic. So on one day, we might have a professor from our education department give a session on education equities in K through 12 and think about how COVID has impacted the schooling experiences of so many students across the country and what that means for especially our high school students moving on into college and beyond. Another day, we might have a professor from our urban environmental planning department at Tufts lead a session on neighborhood segregation and learning the history of redlining and how it impacts the way that neighborhoods are created across the US. and how that impacts the experiences and resources and opportunities that are available to each different neighborhood. Now that ties then into education equities, which you might have learned the day before. We'll have sessions on community health, on language justice, on environmental racism, and then really in the second week, we'll start thinking more about policy and social change and social movements, and thinking about now that we understand the core of some of these issues, what does it mean and what does it look like to enact change within our local communities, even as high school students, even as younger social agents within our community. After our faculty sessions each day, in the afternoon, we often will spend time taking field trips to local community organizations in the Boston area. So you'll get to check out really cool work that grassroots nonprofits are doing to combat some of the issues that we talk about in our earlier sessions. So you might visit an organization that supports immigrant rights and provides translation services, especially for youth and adults that immigrate to the local Boston area and need additional kind of services to be able to navigate life in the Boston area. Or you might go visit a legal services office that provides pro bono legal service to immigrants who are facing deportation, and thinking about what that means in the context of social justice and the change-making work that we're all trying to be a part of. In addition to our field trips, which will happen probably 3 times during the course of the afternoon, you'll 3 times over the course of the 2 weeks. You also spend a lot of time in the afternoon working on your final project. That's where you're going to analyze an issue within your own community, apply a lot of the frameworks and thinking that you've learned throughout the program into a specific issue that impacts your community. And you're going to look into policy, you're going to analyze stakeholders, you're going to do research, and then LSC ends with a final presentation where all students are going to present the issue areas that they've chosen, the research they've done, and collectively think how we as a big program, and also as young people across the US and also across the world, can really think about social change through critical and impactful ways. Similar to other programs, there is a Tufts matriculation credit that comes with this program. And I would just say it's a really great time. It's a program hosted by our Tisch College of Civic Life at Tufts, which is a whole college focused on civic engagement. And we hope that you'll consider doing LSC this summer. In addition to our residential program, we also have a virtual program, July 28th to August 9th. So if you aren't able to make it to a residential version, there's also an option to do the program online.
Thank you, Calvin. Now, for the last program we're going to review tonight, Climate Resilience Institute. I'll turn things over to Kayla.
Hey everyone. So the Climate Resilience Institute is a super cool 2-week program really focused on the way that science and society is connected. So I'm a traditional biologist. I have my PhD in biology, and so I'm really excited to be teaching this class as someone that focuses a lot on coastal resilience. Specifically, I study fungi, and so it's a really cool way to get people involved. So the class will really look into what are the environmental issues, why are these issues happening, who's being affected and how, and what can be done, and then taking a deeper look into who is already probably working on these issues. So day to day, my teaching philosophy is really rooted in education as a form of empowerment. And that is specifically very important as we're talking about climate resilience. So I'll be teaching aspects of climate science, biodiversity, but also taking a deeper look into the groups that are most affected by these climate changes. I like to blend lectures with specific case studies and hands-on activities. So, for example, you could be doing role playing as different stakeholders in a very political dam removal case, or building concept maps of ecological issues. But I also am really excited about being outside. I know that Tufts has a really incredible urban garden with a bunch of pollinators. And so using real ecological methods that I use in the field and getting students involved in that will be great, especially testing questions and hypotheses. I'll also bring in some of my science colleagues from both the academic and local organizations, such as watersheds and urban farms. There'll also be field trips that are in the works, specifically with my expertise in coastal resilience. I'm working really hard on planning a trip to a living shoreline here in Boston. They're really incredible ways to mitigate storm impacts in this urban system. And I think that one of the most exciting parts of this class is getting to do a capstone project. So students will be split into small groups and working to identify climate change issue of their choice. So students will get a chance to work on this capstone project at the end of each day and present a final storytelling of this environmental issue. So focusing on their own issue that excites them, and then getting to take that into deeper research and then bring it back out to why it matters to everyone else and what they can do about it. So alongside myself and other invited guests, there'll also be undergraduate teaching assistants from the Tufts Environmental Studies program, which are really great resources, not only for course content, but also just peer mentorship, asking questions about college and getting access to those kind of resources as well. I also like to highlight that students learn a lot from each other, and I'm a big advocate for social learning among students. So we'll work really hard on getting to share everyone's perspective to these really complex environmental topics. So ultimately, my goal is to recognize that climate change is a very daunting thing to talk about, but there's a lot of change that can happen. And I want students to leave with a sense of hope in their own unique perspective on what they can do to make a better future. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you all this summer.
Thanks so much. Well, thank you to all our program leads for the overview of their programs. Now I'm going to turn things over to Abby, who is one of our program administrators for the pre-college team, so she can talk to you a little bit about the overall application process.
Thank you so much. Here we're at the point where we get into one of our most important steps in the process, which is getting ready for the application. You'll head to our application landing page to register for your account. You can find that link on all of our program websites at Apply Now. Once you've registered, you can log into the system and start your application. You'll put in some basic information, family information, and then you'll select your program. To supplement your application, you'll be asked to provide contact information for a recommender and school official who will upload your transcript. Some programs may require additional application materials such as lab preferences or a brief personal statement or a level of experience in the particular area of the content. As a part of your application, your parents will also need to fill out the parent permission form, and your recommender and school official will be prompted to upload your letter of recommendation and your transcript respectively. Once we've received these materials, we will return your admissions decision within 10 business days. Upon admission, you'll be asked to submit your deposit and some enrollment forms, followed by a full payment. And then, just like that, you'll be ready to study with us at Tufts. But now I'll turn things over to Max to host our Q&A portion of the evening. We'll begin with Max reading some of the Q&A that might have happened during these presentations, and please feel free to keep adding your Q&A to this section as we talk, and we'll get to as many of the questions as we can.
Thanks, Abby. So I just want to start out by asking the program leads about the timing of their classes and what time students can expect to spend with their program. So I'm going to kick it off and actually start with Calvin, if he might be able to talk about with Leadership for Social Change, what the timing of the day would look like.
So Leadership for Social Change will run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with our program staff. So you'll be with our Tufts University students, you'll be with our faculty, you'll be with our entire LSC team from 9 to 5. After 5, you typically will go to our residence hall and you'll have dinner, and then you'll be able to spend the rest of the night with your friends that you're making through the program. We do have some homework that you'll have to do after the program, but a lot of time generally is spent socializing and relaxing and taking advantage of being in Boston and being on a college campus.
Awesome. Thanks, Calvin. Phoebe, I'm wondering if you might be able to provide similar context to Calvin, just what time students can expect to spend with their program for international relations.
Of course. So international relations runs very similar to the Leadership for Social Change. We also run a 9 to 5 program, specifically with distinct chunks taken out of the day. So 9 to 11:30, students every single morning, students will be with their language programs. There's an hour lunch, and then students will have an hour and a half in the faculty lecture. And then there's a short break, and then students will go off to their recitation style classes, which is the Tufts student-led discussions. That's another hour and a half. And then there's another short break. And then the 4 to 5 block is always used for what we've determined is skills building, which is a huge wide range of helping students prepare for their paper, teaching students important skills that help them with research and help them with working with archival material. As well as how do they use the library systems, because while students are enrolled in this program, they will have full access to the Tisch library systems, which includes all of our digital and physical collections. So there's a lot of sessions on that, as well as we are hoping this year to bring in a panel of former Tufts students to speak about what it's like to have a career in international relations. So we're really showing these students what it's like to be a college student, having that full schedule, having that intensive coursework, teaching them skills that they can use even outside of their international relations fields. And then, of course, teaching them like, what do you do with an international relations major, so that students can see like what the future would look like beyond even a college or a master's degree.
Awesome. Thanks, Phoebe. Tina, I'm wondering if you might be able to answer the same for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So we also very originally run from 9 to 5. So, for many kids, this is their first introduction to sort of the business working hours, right? So, but we keep it exciting, and we there's a lot of learning that happens. So in the morning and in the afternoon, we intersperse content learning, which is, things like lecture and guest speakers and all that. And we intersperse it with workshop where the students will learn hands-on tools and techniques for building their business and validating their ideas.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Will, same question, but for marketing.
Yeah, so pretty much 9 to 5, about an hour and a half for lunch. In the morning, first session is usually a workshop with the instructor or a guest lecturer. We ask the guest lecturer usually make it very interactive, and then in the afternoon the students get to work upon either the week 1 project that they've been given in a project team, assisted by the lecturer and the teaching assistants, and then same in week 2. So obviously working on their week 2 project.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Kailea, last up to bat, can you walk us through what the students in the Climate Resilience Institute can expect for the academic day?
Yeah, largely, again, 9 to 5, but I like to build in some breaks in there. So there'll be breaks. There's also going to be hours for lunch. Every day is going to look a little bit different, but the number one thing that we'll have consistent is going to be about 2-ish hours at the end of the day for everyone to be working on their capstone projects, as that's a huge part of the Climate Resilience Institute. Throughout the day, there'll be different aspects of maybe I give a lecture, maybe there'll be some more hands-on workshops, more like hand-on working activities, group discussions, and largely I will bring in a guest speaker at least 3 times a week, which will be exciting to get people more real-world experience and exposure. And then there'll be about 3 field trips, so that also breaks up the week a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for giving a little bit more context on what students can expect during the day. I've gotten a few residential questions in the Q&A, so I'm going to take a few of these. The first residential question that I'm going to tap on really quickly, what is the mix approximately of residential versus commuter students for the programs, particularly the Climate Resilience Institute? In general, our mix is about 80% of our students live with us on campus for the duration of their program, and about 20% are commuter students. One notable exception is the Leadership for Social Change program, where the in-person session, all students are residential. So I hope that that's helpful. Definitely more students are going to be residential than not. Another question that I got is about meal plans. So the standard meal plan for residential students during the academic week. So Monday through Friday, students will have access to the dining hall for 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then on the weekends, the dining hall does brunch and dinner. If at any point a class or a residential field trip or anything will take a student off campus with the program, we will arrange either for a box lunch from the dining hall or for food to be provided where we're going. Students definitely have the option to dine in the area if they'd like. Somerville in particular has a lot of really great restaurants very close to campus, but the meal plan will cover breakfast, lunch, dinner during the week and brunch and dinner on the weekend. For commuter students, the meal plan includes lunch Monday through Friday, and meals outside of that can be paid for at the door by cash or card. And then the last one for residential for right now, can residential students go off campus on their own in the evenings? And the answer is that depends. There is a permission form or a waiver that students or that parents can sign to give their student authorization to go off campus unsupervised. And if that's signed, then that's great. Students can go into Somerville, into Boston, even by public transit. And they can go on their own and then check back in with staff when they come back to campus. Without having signed that waiver, students will be on campus under staff supervision. And if they do depart campus, that'll be on some kind of field trip or other supervised excursion. I do have a question for the climate resilience program. The question in the chat is, can you describe the role of policy, legal studies, and advocacy in the climate resilience program?
Yeah, so climate change and all of the legal aspects are really intertwined. And so largely when I focus on case studies, I'll be bringing in multiple aspects, specifically, as I mentioned, stakeholders. And so I've planned an activity thinking about dam removal that is happening on the West Coast, applying it to the East Coast and thinking about how that might work. So I could foresee, that integration of policymakers and the stakeholder activity. So largely that'll be brought through case studies, but I'm also inviting guest speakers. I do have some colleagues in environmental policy that I'd love to bring in and invite some grassroots organizers as well to really focus on the social advocacy aspect.
Awesome. Got a seat for me this summer because I'll come join you. No, all of these sound really exciting. I do have a question next for Abby, our program administrator. And the question is this: is there financial aid?
Thanks for asking, Max. So we do currently offer limited financial aid on a first come, first served basis to domestic students who demonstrate a clear need for our summer programs. Unfortunately, we can't offer financial aid to international students at this time. And we also do not offer financial aid for the Leadership for Social Change program outside of the philanthropic partnerships that it has currently. Students have the option to indicate whether they're interested in receiving financial aid once you begin your application. If you have any further questions about it, you can reach out to us at precollege.tufts.edu.
Thanks, Abby. What is the residential life at Tufts while attending the summer program? Abby, do you want to take this one?
Yes, definitely. So our residential coordinators and team a lot of effort into making sure your experience on campus this summer is both filled with programming as well as excursions outside of your program time. So opportunities that students have had in the past are smaller excursions during the week and activities that the residential team puts on, and then larger excursions on the weekend. So things like going into Boston for the day or going to the beach, going to a local amusement park. These are all opt-in opportunities that you would have if you were a residential student on campus this summer.
Thanks, Abby. What kind of students are preferred for the Entrepreneur and Innovation Program, as in students who are strongest in math, science, history, etc.? Tina, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I think it's actually, we have a much richer experience when there's a diversity of strengths in the class. So we want all kinds of students. We want students who are strong in math. We want students who are strong in writing. We want students who are strong in, social sciences. So we really would like all kinds of students. I hope that answers the questions.
Thanks, Tina. Another question I see on here is, should we bring snacks for throughout the day? Abby, can you take this one? Are there any, other than specific meals, are there any other snacks or things provided?
Yeah, I think too, but Max, if you have anything to weigh in as well, I think it would depend on the program. If there were the commuter students are able to bring food that they would eat and consume throughout the day, but students typically have their lunch on campus as well. If you're a residential student and your meals are provided for you. But Max, I don't know if you have anything else to weigh in on this.
Yeah, my recommendation in terms of like bringing snacks throughout the day, I would think about what your day looks like as you are attending classes at your academic year high school. So if you are a person like me who snacks throughout the day, it might be good to come prepared. But just really think about yourself through a school day and what you might need to set yourself up for success as you go through all of these very thoughtfully planned sessions.
Great, thanks, Max. For the Client Resilience Institute application, is there a preferred or min-max length for a statement of interest?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit. I think that also could be a question maybe for Max or someone more on the application side, but from my perspective, no, I'm just happy to read what you all are excited about. I'm taking these interests pretty seriously and thinking about each person who's attending and integrating people's interests definitely into the course as I'm planning. So write it on what you're excited about.
And Max, I think you might be answering this one, but just so that we get the answer for everyone to hear, can commuter students also participate in weekend events geared toward the residential students?
Yeah, so for this summer, the evening and weekend events that are held are for the residential students. Commuter students are expected to depart once their program has concluded for the day.
Thanks. And I see a couple of questions here. Is there access to rowing or a gym? And are there specific sports or activities available to residential students? Abby or Max I think students should have access to the gym while they're here. Is that true? Or
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're on campus with us this summer, you are a Tufts student. You are carrying a Tufts student ID, which does get you tons of discounts in Davis Square, I've learned recently. But that also gives you access to the Tisch gym on campus, gives you access to check out books from the Tisch library. So the common spaces that are available to Tufts students during the academic year, they are also available to y'all this summer.
excellent. Thanks, Max. Here's a question can we have phones during the courses or do we have to leave them in our rooms?
I guess I can answer, at least for my program, a little bit. In the entrepreneurship and innovation, having access to the internet for research purposes is useful. Of course, we ask that the students not be on their phones during the lectures or during that they stay actively engaged in the class. But having access to research and information is in our workshop is really useful, whether it's a laptop or tablet or phone.
During downtime that is planned, are there other assignments that are to be completed during the day?
I can speak on behalf of the Leadership for Social Change program. Every day we do have a short written reflection assignment you'll have to do outside of program time. It usually shouldn't take more than an hour and a half or so, but it is a way for you to do some reflection on what you've taken away and learned from the day, and to kind of keep track of the ways that you feel like your own thinking is developing throughout the program.
Yeah, same in terms of marketing essentials. We encourage reflection. It's a very effective way of learning and improving. We also have very simple quizzes to complete Other than that, it is group work with your project team.
Great. Thanks, Will. I think I just saw something, Abby, I think you answered it, but can you take 2 courses at one time if they are not on the same dates? Just so
Yes,
that
you
everyone
can.
here-
Yep, you can apply to and participate in 2 programs as long as they don't conflict for their program dates.
The Entrepreneurship Bootcamp and the Marketing Essentials pre-college program do complement each other very, very effectively. So if you're thinking of pairing 2 particular programs, those do go together rather well.
And maybe I can, Tara, sorry, but I can take one of the questions as well about material supplies, you know.
Yep.
So I'll answer this live. So the question is, what materials or supplies would a student need to bring for the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Bootcamp? Laptops or tablets are, again, very useful. Again, like you don't have to if you don't have one. However, having it is useful in terms of taking notes or being able to create presentations. So yeah, that would be great. If you have a laptop, please bring it. If you have a tablet, bring that. However, if you don't own one, then don't worry about not having one.
And then specifically for Leadership for Social Change, someone's asking, will we need to bring laptops for that program, Calvin?
For LSC, yes, we do ask that you bring your laptop if you have one, but similar to what Tina said, if you don't have a laptop or a tablet, just let me know. We can find an alternate solution.
Next question is, Max, maybe you could take this one. Are residential students paired with roommates in doubles, or what is housing like?
Yep, I have said it before and I will say it again this summer. When you are on campus with us, you will be a tough student. And so that also means that the majority of our residential spaces, the rooms in the residence halls, are doubles. So what that looks like, once a student's admitted, there is a collection of forms in your Slate portal that you either the student, the parent, or both will complete, and one of the forms that the student will complete is our residential information survey. And so that allows us to collect some information about what time you typically get up in the morning, what time you typically go to bed. Are you a person who does homework with music on in the background, things like that. And in asking those questions, what we're trying to do is we're trying to zero in on roommate pairings. So roommates will be paired by age and by gender, and I believe in some instances by program. And we're going to make the best roommate matches that we can. And then students will have their residential counselor that they can, ask any questions about living with roommates, learning how to come to an agreement when maybe there was a disagreement, things like that. But we do try to provide the full residential experience, which includes doubles.
Excellent. Thank you. I think there's another question. Are students paired with other pre-college students and doubles? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So all of the buildings that we use are only housing pre-college students over the summer. So pre-college students will not be rooming with current matriculated Tufts students. So high school students living with high school students and not college students. What are the showers like? Are there specific times, or do we have separate ones for each dorm room?
I was a Tufts student. Do you want me to jump
yeah, go for it, Phoebe.
specifically? Yeah, so I attended Tufts as an undergraduate and a master's student. So I actually have like full firsthand, knowledge of what these showers look like. Because that was something I was nervous about when I attended as an undergraduate. But the showers are like singular stall, and they are available. I believe there's 2 bathrooms per each hall. And I do know that they utilize a lot of the residential halls that I lived in. And they are available. Some dorms are they have universal gender bathrooms, and then some are labeled for whichever gender you identify as, but all of the showers are, again, singular stall. They are very private, and you will have access to showers at any time during the day outside of outside of hours that you were going to be specifically in your program. Hopefully that answers the question, but I know like I know that that's what the showers look like. Specifically, like I know they use Houston, and those are the showers that were in Houston. So
And I think Max, you might have just answered this, but so everyone can hear, someone asked if there was air conditioning in the dorms.
Yeah, so I
so-
will be very, very clear during the academic year, these buildings are not air conditioned. However, for the purposes of the pre-college programs, the rooms will have window AC units installed for the summer.
How many students are there per course? I think this may vary a little bit by program. So Calvin, do you want to get us started with how many for leadership, and we'll go through the programs?
Yeah, so the Leadership for Social Change residential program has around 40 students each year, and our virtual program will range anywhere from 20 to 40.
Great. Phoebe for IR?
Yeah, IR changes every year. The first year that I was working with international relations, we had 76 students. Last year, we welcomed 85 students. And the numbers can sort of range anywhere from 70 to 100.
Awesome. I'll go to Tina next for entrepreneurship.
Sure. In our program, the students learn to work in multidisciplinary teams, and so unfortunately we can only take about 50 or so students. So definitely get your application in there, because we do tend to fill up, because it's exciting. We do have a fun course. The kids learn a lot. So yeah, so it's about 50 is about what we can take.
Awesome. Will, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so last year we had 49. We're running 2 sections of marketing essentials this year. So, I would anticipate between about 40 to 50 students in each section.
And Kalia?
Yeah, similarly, I think we had about 48 or so. So we are also smaller, but we fill up quick. I checked in last week and we were already about halfway full. So make sure you get your applications in.
And I think earlier we saw a question about how people would know. I think it was answered offline, but we will post on the site when things go to a wait list or when they are closed. So keep an eye on the site on the main page and keep you updated as things move. But I agree, we're looking at numbers today. We're definitely filling up the program. So if you're interested, get those applications started. Next question is, what is living in the dorm like? Should we bring a fan? I think Max just answered this. There will be units in the rooms that are put in for the summer. And I think you will get lists and emails from the pre-college team of any other essentials that you are required to bring for your stay in the dorm.
Yeah, we do have packing lists that go out as students and families start to think about that question, even during the application process. I encourage students and their families to think about what it is that the student needs at home. Like, I am a person who I like to sleep with a fan on anyway, things like that. So just kind of think about who you are when you're at home, and what things would make sense to bring with you to a dorm room that you will share it with another person.
Last question I see up here right now is, how full is Leadership for Social Change? If you know that right now, I actually don't.
The LSE residential program is filling up very fast. So if you are interested, I would recommend getting in your application, your materials as soon as possible. When we do move to a wait list and become full, we will make an update on the website. As of right now, we are not full, but we are filling up very fast.
And international relations, someone's asking the same question, Phoebe.
Yeah, international relations, based on sort of like the enrollment numbers that we're going with this year, it looks, I'm checking right now, it looks about 25 to 35% full. But I'm gonna, reiterate what everyone else is saying. If you want to make sure you secure your spot, you want to make sure you get your application in as soon as possible. I know for a lot of times what is holding up the application process is getting those materials in from the schools, whether they be transcripts or letters of recommendation. So what I would recommend is, check with your status. Like, if you submitted your side of the application, I would check in to see what the schools or your letter of recs status is, just to make sure that you get those materials in, because you can see there's a lot of applications that get stuck in the queue because they're waiting for all the materials to come in before those who are doing admittance can fully see the application.
And Phoebe, while we're on you, when will students learn which language class they are in?
Oh, that is a fantastic question and a little complicated. So the way that it works is if they are given out on a first come, first served basis, with every language course being capped at 20. So if you are asking for the 4 courses that do not require any pre-existing knowledge on those languages, that being beginning Chinese, beginning Russian, beginning Arabic, and English as sort of like an academic language. Those, if you received, in an admit letter that it says you got your first preference, that is the official language that you're going to be enrolled in. We are keeping track of those numbers to make sure that those courses don't fill up, but as of right now, all language courses still have ample room, and they will be sort of confirmed once you get fully enrolled in the program, the few weeks leading up to the program starting. But if you, again, if you see in your application, you got your first preference, then we have admitted you for that language. Now, however, if you you chose one of the 3 courses that do require content knowledge on that language, that includes intermediate French, intermediate Spanish, and advanced Spanish, you do need to take a language course, a language placement exam in order to fully complete your enrollment. Those are done essentially by, you take the language placement exam. Unfortunately, I don't have access to those test results, so I need to go through other test professors to get that information. Once they confirm with me that a student has indeed passed that language placement exam, I will then email the student that they have been enrolled permanently in their first choice of language. If a student is unable to complete the language exam, or if a student does not pass high enough to place into the language, or this sometimes happens as well if students choose intermediate Spanish but they place into advanced Spanish, I will reach out to that student and ask them if they would like their second choice of language, or if they would like to pursue a different option, or if they would like to take the placement exam again. So that is when you get that confirmation. When you receive, if you chose those 3 languages that do require that placement exam, you will receive an official confirmation from me once I get those scores in. But if you were enrolled in one of the 4 languages that don't require that, those are all our beginners, and our English as a second language is the official title of that course. You have, when you receive your admittance letter, that is when you get confirmation of your official language. So sorry, this is very complicated. There's so many classes, so many different languages, but hopefully that answered the question.
Great. So we have 3 questions right now. I know we are almost at time, so I'm going to cap at these last 3, and then I'm going to change the slide here. Just if your question didn't get answered or doesn't get answered after these 3, feel free to email us or call us anytime, or visit the website and follow us on any of these social channels. One question I see is, will students be able to engage in admissions campus tour while they're there? Don't know an admissions campus tour. I know there are tours on registration day that are given of campus for everyone with their families. Max or Abby, I don't know if there's any additional things that you won't see on that tour, if that's specifically for pre-college, if you know.
Yeah, I would reach out to undergrad admissions at Tufts just to schedule an undergraduate tour outside of the pre-college programming, just because we don't work specifically with those tours. So it might be worth inquiring with them about that for you.
And there should be times probably during your stay that you can sign up for. So if I'd reach out to them, like Abby said, there's ways to sign up on the website. Back to Phoebe, when will you have to take the language placement exam?
You have to take those at least 1 week before the program begins. I highly recommend that you get that language placement exam in as soon as possible, so I can confirm your seat in any of those classes that require the language placement exam. You should receive, upon admittance into the program, you should receive a link to the language placement exam, whether it be the Spanish or the French. I recommend that you take them as soon as possible, but you don't have to take them up until the week before the program begins. But again, I highly recommend that you take it as soon as possible so you can confirm your spot in that specific language class.
Great. And so for our last question is for Kalia For Climate Resilience Institute, the website shows a program director, associate director, lead. How are they all involved, or is everything led by you?
Yeah, so to that, it's that Colin actually is like the mastermind behind the Climate Resilience Institute and developed it years ago. And Coco actually is the head of the department. And so Climate Resilience Institute is housed within the Environmental Studies department. And we mostly do behind the scenes stuff with Colin and Coco, as well as Sanit. So it's really behind the scenes course development and check-in. So I will be the instructor, but we're all working on developing the best course material we can.
Thank you so much. So again, thank you everyone for coming. It's 7 o'clock. We have plenty of social media channels for you to follow us on, lots of great videos on our YouTube channel and on the website. And any other questions, feel free to email or call anytime. And we look forward to hopefully meeting you all on campus this summer. Thanks everybody. And thanks to our program leads and pre-college team for their time, and have a great night, everyone.